and 25. One sees all that within the secrets of the Torah. From a new Zohar, Song of Songs, wisdom that one should know. Excerpt number 7. The Creator has no contentment in His world except when we engage in this wisdom. Moreover, man was not created except to study the wisdom of Kabbalah. From Rabbi Chaim Vital, Introduction to Sha'ar HaAkdamot. Excerpt number 8, from the Hida Shem HaGdolim. The study of the Zohar is a great correction to enlighten the soul and sanctify it. Excerpt number 9, from Or Yakar, from Ramak. When engaging in this composition, the power of the souls and of Moses are awakened. For when they engage in it, they renew the renewed light, which was renewed at the time of its composition. And the divine shines and illuminates with that light, as in the beginning of its renewal then. And all who engage in it return and awaken that same benefit and that previous light, which Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai and his friends revealed at the time of its composition.
ציטוט 10 מתוך ספר דגל מחנה אפרים. לשון הזוהר
From the banner over the camp of Ephraim, Likutim. The language of the Zohar is a remedy for the soul, even if one does not understand anything it says. It is similar to a person who enters a perfume store. Even though he did not take anything, in any case, he has absorbed the good smell.
ציטוט 11 מתוך סור
Excerpt number 11. From Sur Mera Ve'osetov. Listen to me, my brothers and friends, the friends who yearn for and seek the honest truth of the service of the heart, to view the pleasantness of the Creator, and to visit His hall. My soul will bow down and adhere to the book of Zohar, for we know from the words of our predecessors of the remedy of engaging in the holy book. Excerpt number 12. From the New Zohar, Bereshit Aleph. Happy are those who look into their desire, the meaning of the upper secrets, to walk in the path of truth, to merit this world and to illuminate the next world for them. Concerning them it is written, the righteous shall shine. Happy are they in this world and in the world to come. Those who cling to the Creator in truth, their desire guides them to advance in their work as it is established above in the upper worlds. As it is written, and Abram went as the Lord had commanded him. Hence, later, when they observe their desire, they know the sublime secrets, for they look into the tendencies in their own desires and know how the sublime secrets are determined above.
ציטוט 13 מתוך זוהר לעם בעלותך.
Excerpt number 13 from Balachotcha. The wise shall shine as the brightness of the firmament, are the authors of the Kabbalah. They are the ones who exert in this brightness, called the Book of Zohar, which is like Noah's Ark, gathering 2 from a town and 7 kingdoms, and sometimes 1 from a town and 2 from a family, in whom the words, every son that is born you shall cast into the river, come true. The Torah is called a son, the newborn is the attained. Into the river means the light of Torah. Cast is like you will study it, where you study each insight that is born in you by the light of Torah and by its soul. This is the light of this book of Zohar, and it is all because of you. Excerpt number 14 from Rav Tzvi, from the Teret Tzvi. Happy and blessed are we who were rewarded with His light, to walk and contemplate in the pleasant words of the upper illumination of the holy light. Its taste is sweet, and it is altogether delightful, unending waters, and without limit of understanding. To know the acts of creation and the works of the Merkavah, and how to be a chariot, to unite and restore the soul to its source, to the root where it was hewed from. This was determined and rooted in my soul. Whoever has not seen the light of the book of Zohar has never seen the light.
ציטוט 15 מתוך נוצר חסד.
Exit number 15 from Notzer Chesed. The existence of the Israelis depends on the book of Zohar to study with joy and delight and with pleasantness and fear and love, each according to his ability and sanctity, for all Israel are holy. Exit number 16, Notzer Chesed. Each and every letter in the book of Zohar and the writings of our great teacher by Rav Chaim Vital are great corrections for the soul, to correct all the incarnations. Exit number 17. A truly new light will be renewed for him at every moment until an actual new creation is made by means of the Zohar from Echa HaBracha. Exit 18. Banner of the camp of Ephraim. I heard from Bala Sulam that each day the book of Zohar has a new interpretation. Exit number 19. Introduction to the book of Zohar. The advantage of studying the book of Zohar is already known, as the Holy Ari said that one day of study in the book of Zohar and the secrets of Torah is worth a whole year of study in the Pshat. Exit 20. Sichot Haran. When he studied the Zohar, he cried much, until he was rewarded with understanding.
ציטוט 22 מתוך אור צדיקים. ומי שלא
Exit 22 from All Tzadikim. One who has not been rewarded with understanding the Zohar should nevertheless study, because the language of the Zohar purifies the soul. Dear friends, let's turn off our phones. Whoever has a question, to hold the microphone close to their mouth and stand up. We are reading from Zohar for all. Kudei accounts from 197. Lesson is based on the books Zohar for all. You can download the books at cab.tv and order them at 1-700-508-209. Hi, we'll be reading for Zohar for all. Kudei accounts from 197. You can download it at cab.tv. You can ask questions there too.
The good outcome which we may derive from the book of Zohar, which is the revelation of the Creator to the created being in this world, which is the purpose of the wisdom of Kabbalah, happens on the condition that we present the reforming light, which is called the Book of Zohar. Book is regarded as revelation, and Zohar is the upper light, upper radiance. So, to the extent that we're prepared and ready for this revelation, we need to present this light with the vessel, which once the correction is expecting and yearning for this correction. And this can only be on the condition that we see ourselves as wanting to connect, as connected. And to the extent that we yearn for that, the upper light works on us, connects us together, and by that we get the vessel with which to bestow contentment upon the Creator, for the Creator to be clothed in and to reveal Himself, which is the contentment which we grant to Him. So let's truly try to make some effort in the direction of the light. Please.
Zohar for all, Kudei counts, 197. They also made bells of pure gold and put the bells inside the pomegranates. It is written, and its sound shall be heard when he came into the holy place before the Lord. Since a sound that is heard is needed, zeranpin, and there will be blessings on the world, thanks to the priest who blesses everything and does everything. The gold bell is an audible sound, zeranpin. The pomegranate is malchut, which is filled by all, receiving from all the upper ones. 198. And he made the robe of the ephod of woven work, all azure. The robe of the ephod is malchut, all azure, meaning azure is the light of the chair from malchut, who is the black light in a candle that burns and consumes all that is under it. She is azure when she connects to the white light in the candle, chesed. Hence, the azure is for the ephod, as it is light of malchut. 199. These are the kelim of the garments of the priest in the upper one, so that the garments below will be as above. And because Michael is the high priest and comes from the right, why is it written about Gabriel, the man clothed in linen? After all, the garments were for the high priest, and Michael is a priest and comes from the right. However, the left is always included in the right. Hence, Gabriel, who is left, wore garments from the right. 200. Gabriel was appointed as an emissary for this world. Each emissary that is appointed for this world must wear clothes of this world. Likewise, when the soul rises, she dresses in a garment of above in order to be there. Also, when she descends from above, downward, she dresses in a garment. Each garment suits the place to which she goes. Likewise, all the emissaries appointed a mission in this world should wear garments from this world. 201. The robe of the ephod was in order to cover him around his body. When he wore it, it is written, "You have formed me behind and before, and laid your palm upon me." That is, the breastpiece is from before, and the ephod is from behind. 202. Behind and before. When the Creator created Adam Harishon, male and female were created, tied to one another, the female to the back and the male from before. Finally, the Creator cut and separated them, and set her up before the man, to look face to face. And when they looked face to face, the love in the world increased, and they begot offspring in the world, which was not so before. 203. And after the man and his wife sinned, and the serpent came and cast filth in her, she gave birth to Cain, whose form was the form of above and of below, of the filth of the sitra achra from below, from the external ones. This is why he was the first who made death in the world, since his side inflicted as he came from the serpent's filth. The conduct of the serpent is to lie in wait in order to kill. He who comes from the serpent, Cain, his way is to take and go. This is why it is written, and it came to pass that when they were in the field, Cain rose up against Abel, his brother, and killed him. 204. When Cain killed Abel, he bit him like a snake until he took his breath away and killed him. 205. All things return to the first foundation from which they came out. If Cain were not from the side of the serpent, he would not be so toward his brother. Therefore, when Adam saw that Abel was killed and Cain was expelled, he said, "Why am I begetting henceforth?" He parted from his wife for 130 years, and impure female spirits would come and be warmed by him, and he begot spirits and demons. These are called the afflictions of people. 206. Afterwards he grew jealous, wore envy, united with his wife, and begot Seth. This one was in his image, after his own likeness, which was not so before, with the first sons that were before. 207. In the beginning, before Eve, he had another bonding, Lilith, until Eve came, when the Creator set her up for Adam, and they united face to face. This is why it is written, "This one shall be called woman." But the other one, Lilith, was not called so. 208. Because Adam and Eve were created as one, it is written, "He created them, male and female, and he blessed them, for they were together." This is why it is written, "You have formed me behind and before." 209. Ephod and the breast piece are behind and before. The breast piece is before, and the ephod is behind. When the priest would clothe in them, he was similar to the upper form, Zeranpin and Malchut, who are behind and before. At that time, his face would illuminate, and the letters would protrude and shine, and would rise up, and then he knew the matter that was needed. 210. For this reason, the correction of the breastpiece and the correction of the ephod tie together, although the correction of one is not as the correction of the other, and it is all one. The connection of one to the other is for the breastpiece, Zeranpin, to unite with the ephod, Malchut, in 4 rings that connect in this place and in that place, in the breastpiece and in the ephod. The rings are the milkavot that connect to that side, below those that are above, and it is all ophanim and animals. It is all ophanim and animals. The 2 rings in the breastpiece are the animals, Yetzirah. The 2 rings in the ephod are the ophanim, Asiyah, and are tied to one another. 211. It is written, "In the beginning God created the heaven and the earth, the heaven being Zeranpin and the earth being Malchut, since the tabernacle was made according to everything, making the similitude of the lower world, Malchut, and the similitude of the upper world, Zeranpin. All of the works that the Creator worked in this world are as above, so is the tabernacle. All of his works are as the work and as the similitude of the upper world." 212. This is the meaning of all the work of the tabernacle. All of them are deeds and corrections of above and of below, to instill divinity in the world, in the upper dwellers, the angels, and in the lower dwellers, people. The lower garden of Eden, Malchut, is as the upper one, Bina. All the images and all the forms of the world are there. Hence the work of the tabernacle and the work of heaven and earth, Zeranpin and Malchut, are all one.
If there are any questions, please go ahead. No? Well, continue. So we're maintaining the intention, which is to try to bring the kli, the vessel, as closest as possible to the light, according to its properties, and then the light will influence it. The more there is resistance to this advancement, the more we gain more power to advance accordingly, and the light will affect us more.
Lift up your eyes above. 213. Lift up your eyes above and see who created these. Can one, because he raises his eyes and looks up, know and observe what he has not been given permission to know and to see? 214. Rather, lift up your eyes above means that those who wish to observe and to know the works of the Creator should raise their eyes above and see several hosts, camps, and strange great deeds. Then you will see and ask and say, who created these? Who? Me. Binah created these, since Binah is a place that is above, hidden, concealed, and unknown. It is always under question, because that place has not been revealed. 215. The one who leads forth their host by number, he calls them all by name. The one who leads forth since the hidden and concealed place.
The call, Zeranpin, Be'arat Chokhmah,
And the voice, the Ampin, in the light of Chokhmah, is the number of all the hosts above and the calculation of everything. A number and a calculation is mochin of illumination of Chokhmah. However, they do not appear in the place of the Ampin. But from there is the upper faith, Malchut, on all the upper sides, Chasadim from the right and Chokhmah from the left, in which is the place of the disclosure of Chokhmah, until the degrees extend from the Ampin, extending down to Malchut. Also, several armies part to their kind, and all are calculated and called by name. Because of the greatness of his might and the strength of his power, not one of them is missing. Because of the greatness of his might is the right, and the strength of his power is the left. Not one of them is missing from the sides that extend from the two lines. Nothing is missing because those two sides include the whole of reality, and nothing new is added to them, even in the middle line, because it only includes all that there is in the two lines, right and left. 216. Lift up your eyes above and see who created these. When the tabernacle was established and was set up, anyone who saw the tabernacle looked in it, in what was above and what was below, and saw everything in the tabernacle. Because all the works of the upper world and the lower world were established in the tabernacle. Anyone who saw the hooks in the tabernacle and looked at them would see in their illumination the illumination of the stars, for this is how the stars are in the firmament. Rav, questions?
Shalom, Rav.
Hi, Rav. We missed you greatly. Very, very much. And the question is, you said from the beginning that the correction of the world is getting closer through the Zohar.
Of course. We invoke the upper light by that, which is called the upper radiance, Zohar. Yes?
So that there'll be lessons recorded. Is that also influencing? We're reading Zohar in the recorded lesson.
I didn't understand. If you are in a recorded lesson, at a recorded lesson, you're still connected with me. And then to the extent that you want to be connected to me and to absorb from me what I'm saying, there's no past, present, or future in spirituality. then you're in the same state which I want to convey to you. Of course, when you listen to the lesson, you're undergoing all kinds of different states by which you corrupt the light which comes from me to you, not accepting it to the fullest. Rather, you receive some small percentage of small illumination from the lesson. If you're watching a rerun of the lesson, a recording, again and again and again, then the regular people think, well, it's a recording, it's not a live lesson, but because they don't understand what's actually happening and how things are imparted in spirituality. They think it's the past. It's powerless, it has no power, no potency. And you can understand them because they're in corporeality, and in corporeality a copy is not the same as the original. It's like the Ari, the holy Ari said to his student Yaakov, who, when he was passing away, Yitzchak Cohen. Yes, Yitzchak Cohen. So Yitzchak Cohen. So the Ari said, if you connect and be in my lessons as I taught you, then I will come and teach. So Yitzchak Cohen says, how can you come and teach? You're dying now. So the Ari answered him, you have no knowledge of the secrets and the concealed things, and he died. People who have no connection to spirituality, because apparently it's their pride which covers their eyes, and then they think a live cat is better than a dead king. And that's what they think. What can I tell you? Let them think that. The world, our world, really needs people who can constantly bring about some new external developments. But in spirituality, I can tell you, I'm not budging an inch from the writings of Rabash and Baal Sulam. I don't stray from that. And I constantly extract more and more and more pearls from them. And so I don't understand how you can bring here instead of me some student of mine who will give a lesson. What can you learn from him if he himself is... Oh, what can you learn? I see in that a corruption for the society, who may receive from him God knows what, a corruption for the society, who certainly receives pride and ego in his message because he wants to give a lesson. I see great harm done to the belief in and the greatness of the Rav throughout the society. This is always damage, ultimately. And of course, it draws us further away from the reason of the Torah. But still, in order to discover those things, you need to try. In any case. But again, if you check the lessons that we've had in the past, you'll see that they still contain everything that you need from many years to come, which you haven't even heard yet. It's the same as we read now and we see that there's something in the text which I couldn't see before. And those people who believe that a friend can learn from a friend, They're simply... I feel sorry about their future. They still do not understand that everything depends solely on magnifying, increasing the stature of the teacher. Because only on that depends the illumination which they may receive from above.
I'd just like to say that all the morning lessons and the Zohar lessons that were recorded were very strong. And the whole society made a great effort.
Yes, when you hear them again, but you hear them like it's the first time, even though it's you've heard them several times over, and you begin to listen, you begin to discover what's there under the first surface layer. Yes.
There's a person who has every time to understand, to interpret what you say.
To interpret?
Even while you're talking.
During the lesson?
There are a few people who are saying that he means this way and that way. What do you recommend if someone tries to interpret you like that?
I recommend that he write it down in his notebook, and that's it. Not disturb the friends. How can it be? But what, he's taking it upon himself with such... I've never heard such insolence. During the lesson, he's going to explain to the friends what they can't hear, so to speak.
One time, yeah, but after that he should just go.
Yeah, no, you need to close his mouth. During the lesson, nobody opens their mouth except to ask a question.
Other than during the morning lesson. Let's say if he says this way, and he says that the Rav means this, and he's trying to say that.
No. That's wrong.
If a person hears that in such a situation, what does he do?
He needs to say, shut your mouth, I don't want to listen to you. As rudely as possible. Just make him understand that he's bringing ruin upon himself that way. It's completely wrong. If the friends are sitting together in an equal way, it's very dangerous, but let's humor it. If they're discussing the lesson as equals, that's something else. But also, you need to be watchful, so that none of them will be an interpreter of the lesson. No, each one according to what he absorbed. So I hear what he absorbed, and that person absorbed, and I want to learn from them, and they from me. And then, by these comparisons, we gain the content of the lesson, which is doubled, multiplied by our measure of connection. This is a type of study which we'll come to. But to interpret for the friends, no, he's not a friend then anymore. Yes.
What does a person get from a friend? And what does he get from a Rav?
From the Rav, he receives a conduit straight from the Creator. And guidance along the path. Did you see how children are taught to walk? You take his foot and place it one step forward, the other foot and place it here and there, and that's how you teach him how to walk. That is the correct manner in which to teach. So for that, you need to know how to do it, and so that there is no intention in it other than the benefit of that little student, and only for that purpose you're doing it. So you always have to know what you release every time, what foot to put forward, left or right, and this way and that way, and it all depends on the general atmosphere, the situation, the condition of the group. It cannot be just like that. A teacher is a high degree, high level, and also a person who hasn't gone through anything, has no background in spirituality, and does it out of pride. No.
What does a person get from a friend? That's different from a teacher.
From the friend, if I accept him as a friend, I can receive a lot. A lot. It's perhaps he can't replace someone of actual attainment, but to a great degree, people can advance if they relate this way to one another. But this is in a society where everyone are primarily, well, they're connected, they're embracing one another, there's a heartfelt connection between them. And then each one wants to give to the other, and not to be proudful and gain for himself. No, the opposite. He's willing to reduce himself, diminish himself, take his friend's foot and put it one step forward. You take care of them in these kinds of ways, and not out of pride. No, that's completely wrong. I want to give a lesson. I want, as he said, to explain what I've said. But we learn from everything. Yes?
And from where is the reforming light awoken?
The reforming light comes from the passion for correction, where each one annuls himself before the friends and wants to help the friends advance. By that, the light is invoked. These things should be relatively clear, and if someone doesn't understand them, it's because pride blocks his vision. And that also happens, and it passes. Also, sometimes it comes and passes, but we need to be watchful. All right?
No.
Well, it's been a long time coming.
Rav, welcome back. And thank you for teaching the Torah of the Creator. You were missing to us very much, but we felt you in our souls. And that's an excellent thing, because we're included in you and you're included in us. And that can't disappear for even a moment, because if it disappears, then we won't be your students. And if that exists, then we will be the students of the wise, sages. And will you guide us to the Torah?
I show you the path, first of all. I don't want you to be dependent on me. A soul is the 10, that's what it's called, a vessel for the soul, because it awakens its lack towards bestowal, mutual love, and demands of the Creator to give her the power of bestowal and mutual love. And the Creator is happy to supply this to them. And they'll have the power of bestowal and mutual love, and to that extent, they are in contact with the Creator. So that's what you need to teach. It's not the teacher that can do that. He's only a guide. So the outcome is dependent only on the extent to which you apply his advice, or implement his advice.
We will have that yearning for connection. The yearning exists, but we always need to add to it more and more. How do we do it?
This we do by each one providing an awakening for another. None of us has the correct yearning. There is an egoistic yearning only. And one who jumps and thinks that he has yearning and the fear of heaven and the desire to achieve it and everything, he should know, and it doesn't matter to what extent he examines himself, he should know that it's only his ego. There is nothing to him other than his ego, and only the impression which he receives from the friends when he surrenders, yields to them, that will be the correct lack and yearning towards the Creator. The Creator is in the connection, meaning in the inclination towards connection and the attainment of connection. There only can you begin to attain Him.
How can each of us, they can be an emissary?
Yes.
And they need to be an emissary. How can we do this?
By yielding before everyone. By that I become the greatest of them. If I want to serve them, then I lower myself, but I want to serve them, and then to that extent, in that manner, I'm greater than them. Yes?
How do we get to the point where it doesn't matter what happens, everything that happens is a key to the entry to spirituality?
Because everything that happens comes from above, and therefore we need to see everything that happens God's hand. Even, God forbid, some act of it's not some act of the serpent or the sitra achra or the shell. It all comes from the Creator only. But we need to learn from all these things how they guide us towards correction, either on the way of in its time or hachishena, hastening it. And then we need to choose the good path, the right path, because it is good in the eyes of the Lord.
Thank you very much, Rav. There's none like you. There's no one like you, and there's nothing without you.
Thank you too. All right, yes.
Вы сказали по поводу отношения к товарищу, что он не может быть.
Now you said, according to the friends, in regards to the friends, that you need to regard them positively. During the workshop, you need to annul before the friends.
То есть во время семинара другая работа, отношение к товарищу другое.
During the workshop,
there is a kind of work where we annul ourselves, and then each one annuls himself in respect to the friends, of course. But this is in a group. In order to connect together, each one annuls himself before the 10. That's one thing. In order to connect, for the sake of connection, that's it. Now, it doesn't mean that from now on, if I've annulled myself towards Niv, then Niv, from that moment on, becomes for me simply a representative, an emissary of the Creator in my world. No. But that's how I need to diminish myself and to accept all the friends as greater than me. Yes?
Да, и вот продолжение вопроса. Получается, когда мы на семинаре говорим, мы уже пропускаем урок через себя и, получается, трактуем урок. Да, то, что от вас услышали, каждый через себя.
To continue the work that we're doing in the workshop is to pass the work through us. Everyone passes it through their broken kilim. How do we regard to this?
This happens to us in the middle of the workshop, where each one says what he understands of what's happening with him. And that's how everyone share their opinions and discuss them and so on. No one accepts another as if speaking out of divinity, out of the Creator. No, each one thinks what they think, and it doesn't obligate me to accept what the friend says as gospel. No, we all speak in order to connect. All of our speech, it's not so much about what we're discussing, but what do we want to gain from it? What's the goal? The goal is to achieve connection, because the connection, the more powerful it is, the more we will reveal the Creator, and that's all of it. So the truth is, I don't care so much about what the friend says. I'm listening, I join the discussion, but I am intended to I want connection. It's not about understanding, not understanding. It could be that none of you understands what's being discussed, and nobody's really listening, hearing, because he's occupied with his own thoughts, but the participation is regarding the connection. It's not the subject we're discussing. That's not the important thing. No, the connection is. Yes. How did you live without me, poor Gershon?
It's okay, you're at a 10. But try and ask in a direct way. Our spiritual future depends on how much we succeed on absorbing from you the reforming light that you described earlier to the friend.
Not to absorb from me. I'm a counselor. I give you guidance, but the light comes through your own connection. When you're as equal as possible and as tight together as possible, from that the light comes. The more tight together, compacted you could say, and yearning for the light. There's two factors to it, basically, and then accordingly you'll receive the medicine.
Anyway, in regards to the question of annulling towards the Rav, the teacher, for years this feeling keeps coming back that there's a great impression that you can see in the students that on the start of the path have an ability to completely annul themselves to the teacher. You're the first student. You can see it in different ways. And it's awakening me a question: do they have less pride? What happens along the path? Why does it seem like it's missing the students that have arrived later?
First of all, time works, does its work. They understand and they feel and they receive over time many discernments which the new students have not yet received. Myself as well. When I studied with the Rabash, I would disregard many things which today I can't imagine treating him that way. And now when I recall these things, I don't know how to even respond to that. It's as if I'm being electrocuted. But that's how it is. There's nothing you can do about it. So the main thing for me is, if you're asking about me, then the main thing for me is the results from the friends. And sometimes you need to elevate it, lower him. Sometimes you need to show him that you're belittling him or something. But the main thing is the outcome. And sometimes the students can understand me, and sometimes they can't understand me. What to do? It's a path of change. One changes, but the friends who've traversed this path with me for, let's say, 20 years already, they're different already, of course. And here it also depends on the person's soul. There were those who began together with the veterans, but over time they just fell away. And there's nothing you can do about that. Sometimes, well, it takes a long time for a person to understand that this isn't the path for him. And he's corrected himself to some extent. He doesn't understand to what extent, but in order to continue his progress, he needs to offer greater soul devotion. And this is like changing gears. And he feels that he doesn't have that urge, that drive to ascend to a higher degree, which is actually gained by annulment before the friends, but he can't do that. And there are many things here, of course, which depend on grace, the grace of divinity. If it's there, it's there. If it isn't, it isn't. We still cannot discuss all of the secrets of providence, let's call them. All right? Oh, what's going on? All right, Amnon, of course.
In a framework of talking about that you were far from us and you came to us.
But they were jealous of that eyesore there, right?
When looking at it from far, yes. What kind of contentment to the Creator was given to our teacher, Rabash, that has been written such strong passages when he's comparing the love of friends and the legs that are working and the joy is so great that there's nothing quite like friends in the path. And when you were so far from the friends, and we saw you like you were here, and the sound was sometimes good, and it sounded like you were right here, and if you lifted your eyes, and I was really looking for you.
The connection was good, right?
At certain times it was really good. Other times less. But there were some days that it was really good, and I would look up and see you like in front of me, even on the screens. And I thought to myself, he wrote this how many decades ago, and you were thousands of kilometers away, and we saw you as like right here. So these things kind of come together as the distance. And I also want to say it about the ones